Welcome everyone to the Červená Barva Press reading series. And we are celebrating 20 years of the press this year, so it's very exciting. And I'm so happy to have three wonderful readers here tonight, and I'm just so excited to hear them read. And our first reader is Joyce Meyers. She has published two full-length poetry collections, Twisted Threads by Kelsay Books 2024, a 2024 Independent Press Awards Distinguished Favorite, and The Way Back, Kelsay Books 2017, and three chapbooks, Stray Moments, Blue Light Press 2025, winner of the Blue Light Poetry Prize, Shapes of Love, and Wild Mushrooms. Her poems also appear in the Atlanta Review, the Comstock Review, Caesura, and Glimpse. And I give you Joyce.
Thank you, Gloria. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be reading from my two most recent books, starting with Stray Moments. The first poem is about a place called Great Falls. What intrigued me about it was not really the waterfall, but the enormous rocks scattered in the water above the falls. This poem contemplates how they got there. At Great Falls, the boulders lay where the earth tossed them, weightless for an instant, as grains of rice tossed at a wedding, then immobile for eons, while water found a way around, between. Pewter shapes the wind and water made say nothing of the unseen hand that tossed them there to delight my sight. Watching from the shore, I am as they, brought here from somewhere far, at random, as ions spun, collided into cells. So many moments shaped this moment, some illusioned by a sense of choice, as if each step does not follow from what has gone before. The convoluted path, a double helix of a history only dimly felt. Under the sun, they glisten, bask in solid repose, while all around is movement. Downstream, past falling cascades, crashing over cliffs, the surface smooths, fish flash silver, ripple the water. A great blue heron stretches its neck, imitating sculpture. The next poem is about time and changing seasons. Autumn chords. Underfoot, leaves speak with a raspy voice, but the creek sings, rippling over rocks while sundrops cavort through water. Breezes whisper, kiss skin, argue with the lesson of leaves. Dawn silence, songbirds already winging south, syncopates a rhythm with rush of season's flight. Summer's serenade lingers with overtones of echoing sorrow. Words once spoken, never to be unsaid, hang in the air, rise to a crescendo. It's all there in the changing sky, tones, overtones, silences, echoes. How to compose a coda worthy of it all. Now I'm going to turn to my full-length collection, Twisted Threads, poems about connections and interconnections. This book is in 4 sections, and the first section is about childhood and growing up. This poem is about childhood memories triggered by an encounter with an unusual crab on a Caribbean beach. Ghost crab. Something like movement in the sand. Perhaps no more than a breeze ruffling the surface. I turn my head, again a slight disturbance in the air. I approach, it stills. I see the eyes, two dots of dark on stalks above a pale translucent body, invisible against the sand, but for those frightened eyes. I take another step to get another look. It raises tiny claws, then scurries toward a hole and drops inside. As a girl, I could have been that crab, imagined myself invisible, a pair of disembodied eyes. Turtle shy, I watched the world go by, uneasy if observed. I was the girl who never raised her hand in school, sat along the wall at parties, when noticed, looked for holes to scuttle into. On the beach, I yearned to know that crab that slipped away, never meant to cause it fear. Others might see humor in its tiny upraised claws. I saw only pathos, a doomed show of menace. We live as we are made, use the eyes, the camouflage, the claws we are given, the burrows we can find or dig. The next section of the book is about grief and healing, and these are poems that I wrote in the aftermath of losing my husband. Broken. My edges are jagged, though the break was clean. No one eats the other half of the grapefruit I section. I walk from room to room, seeking the missing piece, breathing emptiness. The clock stops. The hour hand hangs limp. No natural sleep, no dreams. I wake to strangeness. A long tunnel awaits. I take a limping step into the darkness. No, it's the only path toward light. I keep stumbling, losing my keys. About 9 months after losing my husband, I moved to a new house. I wrote this poem a few days after moving in. Deer in the meadow. This morning on the deck, I breakfasted with red-winged blackbirds darting by, white-breasted tree swallows swooping, and a heron high overhead, birds that never came to the yard I shared with you. I think how you would have loved this place you've never seen, with its huge windows facing a meadow and sunset views. Last evening at dusk, watering plants by the wide window, I caught a glimpse of something brown, a hint of antlers. Stepping out onto the deck, I made a sound. It raised its head. I found myself locked in a gaze with a young buck, startled into stillness. Just beyond, a grazing doe, and near her, 2 fawns. Such drops of joy unbidden, trickling into my nearly empty cup, pull me home to myself, remind me how much I love this earth, though you have left it, and how, in fleeting moments, it seems to love me back. The next section of the book moves away from the personal and explores the relationship between the natural world and human society. This poem is about society's changing attitudes toward shocking events, whether natural or political. The day the cow jumped over the moon. No one saw it coming, though in retrospect, it seemed obvious, inevitable. Even the moon was surprised, though some would say it was in a better position than anyone else to see the big picture. How did we miss it? So much destruction, bodies buried under buildings, the waters rising. Someone must be responsible. We need a congressional investigation, discussions on Sunday talk shows. Nothing will ever be the same until the Super Bowl again becomes the headline above the fold, and everyone returns to the meadow to stand around mooing, chewing their cud. This poem grew out of seeing a dead fawn by the side of the road near my house. Fawns. Weather forecast. Partly cloudy, chance of showers. 2 days after the anniversary of the day the towers fell under that blue, blue sky, a week to equinox, when Earth will hang in the balance, I mourn a dead fawn by the side of the road. 2 hurricanes and an earthquake in the past 2 weeks, and still I mourn a fawn. All summer, I watched my window for a pair of spotted fawns that sometimes grazed behind my house. Watched them grow as their spots began to fade. Watched them wander farther from their mother until they left her watchful eye. From behind the wheel, I hope the lifeless body beside the road is not one of my fawns. Like the woman in the checkout line telling the cashier that she prayed for the hurricane not to hit Puerto Rico where her niece lives. I wonder about the God she prays to, who would answer a prayer to move a hurricane so that only nieces on other islands, along with mothers, daughters, brothers, sons of strangers, would lie in the path of destruction. Wonder why the fawns I watched matter more than any other, or why they should. Ponder the difference between prayer and lobbying. Which one works better and why? And the last section of the book is about our relationship to the universe. And this poem is about trying to find gratitude in a universe that is often challenging. An atheist's morning prayer. I give thanks for the morning light and for eyes that open and see. Thanks for each breath that lets it happen, rhythmic as the tides, and for the moon that makes them. I give thanks for my connection with the moon, my sister, born like me from a bit of star. I give thanks for a body that today can dance and think, for memory, and yes, for pain. The world is full of suffering, random and cruel. For every miracle unfolding in each moment, somewhere a star explodes, a child dies, an earthquake wipes out a town. This is the universe I was born into. There is no other. I have tasted sorrow that nearly broke me, looked on sorrows beyond repair. And so I give thanks for healing, for time that softens grief, for storms and seasons, for gratuitous kindness, for a mind that can imagine cherry blossoms on a frigid February day. And I'll close with the last poem in the book, which is a reflection on what the future might hold. Reflections from the Ark in year 87. The failure was to forget to walk lightly on the earth, leaving only footprints. We had learned so much, even to conquer death, once we passed the primitive stage of merely repairing and replacing body parts. My generation was the first. I was 10 when my parents told me I would never die. We were having breakfast, the sky outside the window, a smoky yellow. Their words seemed unimportant. I already felt immortal. What did I know of death? Only that I could kill mosquitoes, and there were so many since the birds disappeared. And I once had a dog that died. But people were different, or so I thought. Then my grandparents died. Lines appeared in my parents' faces, bits of gray in their hair, and I came to understand how they were trapped by DNA, programmed to age and die. So it was too late for them. I left at 23, older than most of my companions. Only a few of us still remember trees. The others know them only from old paintings in museums, akin to angels, dragons, mythical gods. The planners and engineers thought of everything, equipped the ark to sustain us, to replenish all that we consume. We can journey for millennia. The old books teach that paradise awaits. We have only to find it. And so we spin around the galaxies in search of a new home. No rush. We have all the time in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Those were beautiful poems. And our next reader is Emil Reutter. He is a writer of poems and stories. 21 collections of his poetry and fiction have been published. Most recently, On the Other Side of Goodbye, a collection of stories and poems. Distance to Infinity, an anti-authoritarian poetry chapbook. He can be found, and I will put his website in the chat, also Diane's. So I give you G.
Hello. I'll be reading from Distance to Infinity and from a forthcoming book that I'm still working on, Making America Sad Again, Trump and the Sycophants. So the first poem is Vibrations. Along the unhurried creek of vibration, spider lines ripple on surface. Poplar quavers, splits, descends into creek. Ears below surface, carp swirl about. Thousands of boots stomp the ground. As hunter moon rises in night sky, man's inhumanity to man once again normalized. Sky is weeping dry tears. Hate spews volcanic power. Tough guys with soft bodies and long ties attack women and children. Streaming, pods, television blind the populace. Hedge fund foes could care less about you. Send your jobs overseas while waving flags. Lying, 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 stomp, stomp, stomp. The little men with missiles embrace the darkness, expand the veil until light overtakes evil and circles send them all into the pit of Dante's Inferno. As you can see, there's a political slant to these things. Conspiracy. Melting. The ice is melting. The water is warming. North Atlantic current is broken, not broke. Corporations move from nation to nation, spewing pollution in unsafe factories. Ice is melting, water is warming. Smog, smog. Travel air currents lay in valleys, suffocate trees. Swine flu, bird flu, smallpox, corona, 1918, Zika, dengue, malaria. Bacteria thrive eating brains and flesh. The ice is melting. Water is warming. Smog pours from smokestacks upon smokestacks. Cyclones batter the land, travel through barrier islands, up rivers into mountains, battering, destruction. This isn't a conspiracy theory. Pennywise. Space and time dense as the man with little hands, big tie, suit made in a sweatshop. The grotesque chrome over, wisp of hair of ever-changing color, prefab teeth, fake tan, fake man, shreds the Constitution as if an F5 tornado, destroys moral fabric as a runaway wrecking ball. In the wake of this destruction, he peers out at us. The plastic smile is Pennywise, the dancing clown from the sewer of his mind. Never-ending corruption dwarfs Teapot Dome, Watergate, the rich get richer, while this snake oil salesman spins tales of support for working people who pay more and more while he sits on his gold throne in his Tower of Babel. Nightmare continues as nation judders, divide by design. This will end either by the bright light of freedom or in the sewer gas of despair. Lone Star. Down in the land of Rayburn, Johnson, of Yarborough, and Benston, of Bush, and even of Tower, of Graham, of Bush, of Richards, even of Corning, in the Gulf of Mexico, towards Edwards Plateau, to the Big Bend, upward to Llano Escada, stretch of Purry, of Abbott, of Cruz. Really, of Cruz? Really, of Abbott? Oh, Texas, how did this happen? Oh, Texas, my heart breaks for you. Government of coldness, harshness of judgment. I seek redemption for you, yet I know only Texas can redeem yourself. This is a poem entitled Bang. Israel, Palestine, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, Russia, Georgia, North Korea, Ukraine, India, China, North Korea, South Korea, Myanmar, China, Philippines, Congo Civil War, Sudan Civil War, Ethiopia erupting, thousands of dead in West Congo, Maghreb, Sahel, Mali War, Aswad conflict, Niger, Chemo Fasa, and on, hundreds of thousands dead and dying. Colombia, Venezuela, Haiti, Northern Triangle. Guns, bombs, missiles, ships, planes, bullets, rockets, rifles, tanks, drugs. Somebody is making money. Somebody is making money. Gold and silver are tainted red. Somebody is making money. Mass shootings in the United States, random homicides, targeted homicides, death. Somebody is making money. Somebody is making money. Bang. A Finda button spider is a poisonous spider from South Africa. And this poem is entitled Finda Button Spider. Not a snake, not low on the ground or slithering up a tree between rocks or lying in wait in weeds. No, not a snake. So what then? Atrocious, barbarous, bitter, brutal, callous, cold-blooded, evil, harsh, hateful, heartless, inhumane, merciless, painful, relentless, ruthless, sadistic, spiteful, tyrannical, unkind, vicious, wicked. So what then? Trickster, overlord? Not a jackal, not a find-a-button spider. No, what we have here is Jack Napier in charge. Pentagon Pete. Round them up, Petey boy. Call them in. Tell them they can't investigate. Only tell them the news you tell them to. Living in a censored world ruled by scoundrels, miscreants too. Some bad actors they are. Fake news by a fake news guy. Big Don will love you, Mr. Secretary, Secretary of War. War, war, war on your own people. Don't you see? Ah, but you cannot, you sycophant of all sycophants. Blinded by corruptible glory, fleeting, fleeting, fleeting failure. This next poem is titled Homan, or Ho-Man. There he is, projecting as always, tell the big icemen in mass to throw the ladies to the ground, grab little kids, senior citizens, everything to get the numbers up. Homan, not a tough guy, just a crook, $50,000 crook, covered up, swept under the dirty rug of ICE enforcement. Violate the law, ignore the judges. Homan, unconvicted criminal, leading the blind agents into purgatory under the guidance of the convicted felon in the White House. Law enforcement, I think not. Federal Communications Censor. Where have you gone, Brendan Carr? Dark, 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 jaw-boning threats to freedom for the abuser of all freedoms. Where have you gone, Brendan Carr, on the wrong side of history, on the wrong side of tradition, on the wrong side of law? Shame on you, Brendan Carr. Only if you knew what shame was. Shame on you, Brendan Carr. You know better. Wannabe dictator sits in the Oval, cheeseburgers galore, and he looks at you. He knows what you are. A tool bag, Brendan Carr. Anybody see the little statue that showed up in Washington? Two guys holding hands. This is called Special Secret. Whack-a-mole. You know what whack-a-mole is? Anybody know what a whack-a-mole is? Yeah, whack-a-mole. Jeff is still there. Throw everything against the wall, it doesn't stick. Jeff is still there. Hammer and miss, hammer and miss. Jeff is still there. Make crap up. Attack, attack, attack. Jeff is still there. What lurks in the shadows of special secrets, reality is creeping up as these two creeped young girls. The last one standing shall fall hard, and no matter how he may try, heaven is not calling. Virgil is awaiting his arrival. And I'll end with this poem. It's entitled Making America Sad Again. Driving to Maine from Pennsylvania, we're greeted along highways by the infrastructure improvement signs left behind by Joe Biden. People are still working. Highways improved before the arrival of the Make America Sad Again crowd, who began dismantling the government. All those working folks, all those farmers, all those poor folks, all those of what is left of the middle class, everyone is getting screwed. Highway funds held back, education funds held back, Medicaid attacked, Medicare attacked, Social Security attacked, health coverage eliminated, countries attacked and threatened, migrants abused, families split apart, ICE agents in masks hiding what they do, military torn apart, amateurs in charge, FBI degraded, attacked, and vengeful retaliation. DOJ sidelined, the State Department gutted, aid for others cut by the Pillsbury Doughboy draft dodging president. Everyone's getting screwed by Trump, everyone but Melania. Unemployment up, Job creation down. Stock market as wobbly as Trump walking. And in the end, all those folks who believed the con man must now understand we elected a stone-cold, narcissistic, traitorous felon who is now raping the government we were once so proud to call America and screwing all those who supported him. Well, except the 1% who always prospered in times of despair. And of course, Melania. America is sad again. Thank you.
Thank you. Those were very powerful and they need to be heard. So thank you for reading those. And our next reader is Diane Sahms. She's the author of 8 poetry collections, most recently Blues, Prayers, and Pagan Chants. She has been published in North American Review, Northern Virginia Review, Brushfire Journal, Valley Voices, Sequestrum, Chiron, the Philadelphia Inquirer, Pennsylvania Literary Journal, the New Verse News, and elsewhere. She has poems forthcoming from Ranger Magazine and Amsterdam Review. She's poetry editor at North of Oxford. And I give you Diane.
Thank you, Gloria. It's a pleasure reading with Joyce and G. I'll be reading from my new work, which is forthcoming in 2026. The title of the book is Of an Octopus, an Architectural Awareness of Words. The first poem is written encapsulated in a circle. It's entitled Of an Alien Woman. Outside narrow lines, into circular thoughts, words or dollops of paint, poetic art, objects of view, framed in windows, pages, untangled thoughts, bare limbs. A woman is a goddess, moon, opaque in circumference of night, and this poem in this circle on this page is not the moon. Moon's shape is a gumdrop, and she is a mandala, centered in darkness, illuminated light, nakedness, reposed in napping, beautiful in completeness, and she has come home to silence of self. More Celtic, pagan, more enchantment, ageless glow, diamond of morning, pure of heart, disc of song, landed here in this spacecraft. Of womanly. Belief in the magic of the invisible all around us, source of life, energy, as sun's wheelbarrow wheel, which so much depends upon. Its plasmic sphere, nuclear fission capable of 186,000 miles per hour rotations of tornadic womanly winds above the surface at any given moment. And I am a planet off its tilt, in full rotation, weaving meteorites into dangling earrings, wearing plumes of feathering galaxies, braided into a swamp laurel oak's tiara of acorns. Yet, if I break open my entire image into blue and purple crocuses, pink hyacinths, golden daffodils, June tiger lilies, and allow the cosmic veil to be lifted between whom I once was and who I have evolved, spiraled into. Then my reflection will merge with yours into this moment, and you will not run away, because I have spiraled inside and have kissed the face of my inner bride. It's as if an energetic spirit has been released from a broken perfume jar. My next poem has an epigraph by Basho. It's from his haiku 546, and the line is, red on red on red. And my title is Red, a Trio at the End of the Spectrum. Red. Cicada with red eyes sheds its exoskeleton, tells me not to fear death. He says, death is spirit exiting the vessel. He says, death is leaving the past and present for the future. My eyes turn bright red. I see red rose of ash, red eye of summer sun tightly grips my spirit within its talons. On red. A spider and its shadow scurry across the globe. War's web is the dark night of the soul, where the miracle remains invisible, where hope is butchered in a slaughterhouse, where no one escapes. There's not one word to describe horror and a human's red hourglass heart. Hatred is the unsolvable problem. It's sulfurous. It floats endlessly inside the lining of empty space. Night's perfect weave anchors above telephone wires beside a red brick wall. Intricate filaments are woven into spokes around its center. Wheels of the war machine turn. Black Widow's red hourglass is hidden on its underside. War comes from a venomous family. On red. We are our own zodiacs, phases of the moon. We are atoms in the river of light, agree on the finer points of starlight. We are meteor showers coming and going, threatening as asteroids. Lying inside each other's voice, we are weightless. We are crow's shadows atop evergreens. We are bloody breasts of cardinals fracturing darkness. We are starbursts of red camellias, whose fallen petals were Basho's laments for samurai warriors' intense lives, their early deaths. This is a short poem of primitive isolation. I am a black sea devil anglefish, huge gaping jaws, multi-sized fanged teeth, giant open mouth, gross underbite, scary, bioluminescent, lure esca, attached antenna to my forehead, glows in the dark to beguile prey. I am living alone in an entirely hidden world, down in darkness, in deep depths of oceanic life. This poem is for my Aunt Mildred, who lost her only child, Lucy May, and Lucy May was a baby. The title is The Sleeping Gypsy, and it's after Henry Rousseau's painting, so this is a little bit of an acrostic poem. 1, for Aunt Mildred. The lion of her fears eyes her while she slumbers. Rose vases empty womb, walking stick tightly grasped in her right hand. Mandolin's 6 strings stretched into quietness as a tuneless blanket on which she rests her bowed head. This is sacredness, white zipper teeth shining as a row of prayers through lips, eyes crescent moons, dresses soft shades of yellows and greens, baby blues and variations of pink. The lion has no clothes, nor does the full moon, appearing as phantoms on canvas. Yet the lion's shaggy mane wavers in chords like dreads, floating in a dusty cloud of indecision. It prowls. It studies her nomadic dreams, white sclera of its eyes pure as moonlight. There is no fear here in this frozen moment. The lion sniffs the dream of her lost child, Lucy May. She has wandered into barefooted sleep, to a place of no words, timelessness. 2. For Lucy May. Lie here with me, console me, sleeping angel. It's been years since no movement of wind blowing from within your form. Frozen limbs, eyes iced over ponds. In sleep, no gypsy should have to dream of their child in death's unholy repose in this desolate landscape. Lie here with me, console me, sleeping angel. No words can ever be spoken here, no song can ever be sung. So folklore has it that a cardinal's appearance is the spirit of a dead ancestor. In this case, my father. I'm always visited by cardinals in my deepest despair. So this is of a northern cardinal of Dad. Cardinals' intermittent wing sightings and needle of textured sounds. Dad's electric crimson wing transmigration piercing through timelessness. Cardinal's bright ruby red crest erect. Dad's upward spiked Elvis Presley styled crest. Cardinal's reddish orange sundial beak protrudes as mystical from out of its black rectangular facial pattern. Dad's tattooed present extends from dark cosmic designs. Cardinal's scarlet breast, rich tones, pure tweets. Dad's maroon echoes crooning out country music. Cardinal's reddish black feet perched on shepherd's hook. Dad's red socks tucked into holy black work shoes, treading our garden. Cardinal's recurring presence sweepingly fracturing absence. Dad's red blood, tinged remembrance, connection from death's dimensions. And I'd like to end on my last poem is about language and colors, namely of pinkish red. These are pinkish gray words of a brain coiled up, a snake inside a hat box. A pinkish red light is bleeding out from the wallpaper of body's veins. Wings inside the chest are vowels, open, close, as in long and short. Pale pink, dark red tongue, mouth are a chattering time bomb, and reddish pink heart is a ticking clock, counting superseding seconds of each heartbeat until time has been consumed. Blackout. As if writing is a time bomb, waiting to explode, shrapnel lodged into the sheet of this page. 2. Cardinal in flight alights on leaf of tongue, in an untied pink ribbon surprise. Monosyllabic, polysyllabic sounds dressed into words, pinned together, garments on a clothesline to fashion this fragment. Pinkish gray bra, pale pink polka dot dress, reddish pink thong. At times I am a red factor canary, sing words with a caged bird's ache, broken heart bleeding in captivity. Spoken words, wings leave birdcage of a mouth, as sounds released into air must be free. At times repetitive notes are fanned sealing blade, worth repeating. All creatures must be free. 3. The seed and sleeve of green bean thought I eat as morphine. The small seed of pink-red dragon fruit I eat as morphine. Each seed of word ingested, regurgitated as sound Seed, not a phoneme, but a word composed of phonemes. For. At times, a noun like earthquake splits my compound into broken parts. Earthquake. 5. World's oldest known color, bright pink, discovered as ancient pink pigments in billion-year-old rocks deep beneath the Sahara Desert. 6. To smooth out, sort out a dull gray day's laundry into smile, simile, as a clean and pressed landscape, like a crisp reddish pink iron shirt starched into brightness with shiny pearl poetic buttons. 7. At times, metaphoric words are tedious wiper blades, cleaning the windshield of world's eyes into a new kind of seeing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane. Those were beautiful, just incredible. I think everybody tonight, oh my God. Um, I almost have no words. I was just floored by the reading tonight. And I was wondering if you could say a few words about north of Oxford for everybody.
I'm the poetry editor. George is actually the one behind the scenes doing all the work. He does the website. He also gets the books. He gets the people to do the book reviews. Our staff, we have a wonderful erudite staff of book reviewers who do a wonderful job every month writing up reviews. Books are available for people to review. If interested, you can find them on our website. Also, we do essays, and we have poetry every month. We receive email submissions and print them out and spend a lot of time with the poetry and the poets. Sometimes we read the poems back and forth. I make the final decisions as poetry editor on the poems. George makes all the final decisions on the book reviews and essays. So, but we do work together. We are a team. We've been in existence since 2016, and we love hearing from everyone, getting their poems, essays, and book reviews. So feel free to Google us, North of Oxford, WordPress. We're on WordPress, and you can send the submission requirements of, it's 6 poems. You can send them via email, and everything about the essays, books, reviews, and poems is on the website, on the About page, and on the submission page, how to submit to the magazine.